I actually want to talk to you about because I've seen on Facebook, I see it quite a bit, you guys do these sound healings.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about that? Because I'm pretty intrigued.
Yeah, man. So we started getting into sound healing maybe like about 5 years ago, when Double Ray was sort of evolving with our sound, working out who we were as an act and like where we sat, were we in that, we weren't in the pop market, and we were getting played on Triple J roots and all, but we weren't roots, we were electronica. It was funny, like we were dropping drum and bass tracks and we're getting played on the roots thing. So we were trying to work out.
I don't think they knew it. It's like, look, it sounds cool, just play them.
Yeah, that's it. And then so the gradual leading up to the sound healing stuff was in 2014. We were doing a lot of, probably like 3 or 4 trips back and forth between Europe and Australia, and every time we'd bounce, we'd go via Indonesia or Bali.
Yep.
And we just started getting right into our yoga, and that was a way for us to really keep grounded with all the traveling. And in that process, Katie, my wife, she came up with the concept. Every time we'd go to a yoga class, we were like, man, they're playing crap music, man. They're playing this like pop stuff, and you're trying to get in, and we were just not resonating with the music at all.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, why don't we just make the music? So
awesome.
Yeah, so we started diving into that like real down tempo electronica, and we took our time with it as well. Like we sort of took about almost like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And we worked with some yoga teachers, and we started working with a few sound healers, and we started seeing that world. And we're like, this is interesting, like how frequency could, like, we're all made up of, we're 70% water, and the way somatics works, like with frequency and sound, you can shift and move energy through vibration.
Yeah, man.
And which, as musicians, that's what we do in our everyday life.
I mean, even just, sorry to interrupt, but just, if you've seen those experiments where they just throw some salt on a table and runs different frequencies through the table, and it's just like these intricate patterns, like all different frequencies have these amazing patterns, it's amazing. It's crazy, man.
Well, that's the somatic stuff, and it's funny too when you get to the whole like different hertz and the way hertz work with water, and the way they like, there's this constant like, I guess, unspoken thing about like 432 hertz whether to 440 hertz, like where they 432 is the resonant frequency of our bodies, and they say that like there's a theory that back in World War II that they changed, Hitler changed it, was one of the guys that changed the concert pitch to 440 to cause dissonance in like our resonant frequency.
He was a nice fella, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
This is actually really good, because I've started looking into the 432 hertz, but I never really understood where that came from, and like who came up with 440. This is interesting.
Yeah. So it was.
Then it's hard to find a good tuner to.
Well, it's so funny because it's like it's just slightly off. Like not off. It's slightly pitched, like just slightly lower.
Yeah.
But it's really like you see the experiments that like other musicians have done. Like on YouTube, there's one guy that he plays all these songs in 440 and 432, and it's to the human ear, it's barely anything. Like you wouldn't even know. Like, but to a musician, you go, oh, there's you can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's so anyway. So back to the yoga thing. So we decided to do this yoga album, and then started learning all about this sound healing, and dropped our first yoga album, which is called the Sound of Prana.
Yep.
And it opened up this whole world for us as a band to be able to offer 2 types of concerts at festivals, and
amazing.
Also like on our touring circuit, so we could do the big concert, and then we could work with a yoga teacher and go and do these yoga concerts.
Amazing.
And it just brought in a whole different following as well. So we got our first booking at Splendor out of that.
Beautiful.
And that's when that's when the whole yoga scene opened up, and then through that process is where we started diving into sound healing.
Yeah, awesome.
So we do a regular sound healing once a month, it's not like song form. It's very intuitive.
Yep.
And we use binaural beats to change brainwave patterns to drop you into like a deep meditation, and we sort of sit at around 432 hertz and your 512s and different frequencies to really create like healing in the body. And the reaction we get from it has just been it's been amazing. It's been really humbling.
So important, man. Like to, like I think as we go through life, like especially if you're like a driven sort of person, you can sometimes just keep going until you drop. Do you know what I mean? I think it's so important to like have things that.
Speaking from experience, too.
Yeah.
I feel like this.
Well, you know what I mean. Like I don't know.
One of the, both of you guys are hard workers. I think my schedule's hectic, and then I just go,
Yeah, I don't know. Like
John.
I go through times, like I'm sure everyone does, where you sort of you kind of get run down, or do you know what I mean?
It's so many different things.
Yeah, it's
so
like